Have you ever tried to explain your heart to someone who never cared to hear it? You opened yourself honestly. You repeated your truth. But they only listened to their own assumptions. This story is about a woman who learned something powerful, that sometimes silence protects your peace in a way words never can. In a quiet coastal town, where the mornings smelled of salt and the evenings shimmered with lantern boats, there lived a woman named Mira Solis. Mira was a potter gentle hands, patient spirit, and a craft that brought warmth into people's homes. Her ceramic bowls were known for their deep blue glaze, the color of the sea at dawn. But not everyone admired her. Across the harbor lived Alara Finch, the town's outspoken merchant, sharp-tongued, proud, and always suspicious. She often accused Mira of manipulating buyers by claiming her clay was rare. "You paint your pots pretty so you can charge double," she'd scoff loudly at the marketplace. Mira tried to explain. She talked about the long walks she took to gather good clay, the careful firing process, the days of polishing each piece. But Alara never listened. She would just shrug, scoff, and walk away, leaving a trail of doubt behind her. Weeks turned into months. Mira kept defending herself. Every time Alara criticized her, she explained again, and again, and again. But the more she talked, the more the rumors twisted. Mira overcharges. Mira hides cheap clay behind fancy colors, at night. Sitting beside her small kiln, Mira would whisper, "Why can't they see the truth? Why must I keep proving myself?" One morning, a gentle hush fell over the pier. A wandering sage had arrived, an old traveler named Elder Rowan, known for his quiet wisdom. People gathered around him, seeking stories and blessings. Mira waited until the crowd grew thin, then stepped forward with tired eyes. "Elder Rowan," she said softly, "no matter how honest I am, people twist my words. How can I make them understand?" The sage looked at her, smiling gently. "Tell me," he asked, "if a person insists that the waves run backward, what direction do the waves run in their mind?" Mira blinked. "Well, they would still believe they're right," she said. Then the sage replied, "Will your explanations change the tide for them?" Mira shook her head. "No, I suppose they won't." He rested a hand on her clay-stained fingers. "Stop explaining the ocean to those who shut their eyes to the sea. Let your craft speak for you. Silence is not a surrender, it is protection." And with that, Elder Rowan walked on, leaving Mira standing there with a quiet heart. From that day on, Mira changed. She stopped defending herself. When others questioned her prices, she simply smiled. When Alara mocked her loudly in the market, Mira bowed politely and returned to her pottery wheel. At first, the townsfolk whispered, "See, she has no words left. She must be guilty." Not. But Mira kept working. Calm, steady, silent. Her bowls, polished with care, began to shine brighter than ever. Soon, travelers from distant villages noticed the unique blue glow of her glaze. They said it reminded them of peaceful seas. People came not because of her explanations, but because the truth in her craft was louder than any rumor. One evening, when her lantern-lit shop was closing, Alara herself walked in, hesitant, uncomfortable. She placed a few coins on the table. "Need one of your bowls," she muttered. Mira nodded kindly and handed her one. "It will serve you well," she said. "No anger, no bitterness, just peace." Days later, neighbors saw Alara staring at the bowl on her windowsill, the blue glaze glowing softly in the sunset. No one heard what she whispered to herself, but something in her eyes had changed. She finally saw what words could never prove. As the weeks passed, Mira's workshop became a warm beacon in the town. She spoke kindly, but she no longer tried to explain her worth. If someone misunderstood her, she let them. If someone doubted her, she smiled. Her silence became her strength. Her peace became her wealth. One evening, as she placed a finished pot on the shelf, a young girl asked, "Miss Mira, why do your bowls shine so beautifully?" Mira looked at the glaze shimmering in the dim light and said, "Because I no longer waste my light trying to brighten the shadows inside others. I keep my flame here, where it belongs." The girl smiled, and the soft blue shimmer danced gently across the walls. Sometimes the most powerful truth you can speak is the one you choose not to defend. When people are trapped in their own assumptions, silence becomes your shield. You don't need to defend your heart to those who stopped listening long ago. And you don't need to prove your truth to those who benefit from misunderstanding it. Peace isn't found in being understood. It's found in finally realizing. You don't need to explain yourself anymore. Stop chasing validation. Start choosing freedom. And protect your light, because the world needs its glow.